hopefully we will be going on Facebook this time. Supposedly we are live on Facebook. Let me click this and see if that's happening. Because yesterday we didn't go live on Facebook. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, December 6th, 2022 AD. And before we get started here, let me tell you a little what we're going to be talking about. Actually, I have Joel Friday co-hosting with me today. What's up, Joel?
Hey, James.
Let's give the people a little preview of what we'll talk about before we get started with the hate report thing. And by the way, I do have my Streamlabs going. I don't know if you can put Joel on the side screen too, or if he'll just be a voice for now, if not. So, yeah. What did you bring to talk about today, Joel?
Well, there's a few things that have been circling the web that were kind of interesting. Like, obviously, a lot of people know about the Balenciaga thing. That's also attached to like a little video that I sent you. I don't know if we'll get to it or not, or we'll play it, but just how parents are just influencing and allowing kids to just grow up a lot sooner than they need to.
Yeah.
And you know, just TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff that's influencing them, and then they're just allowing it to happen. And then obviously with the Balenciaga thing, things are just kind of snowballing. So Balenciaga, just, you know, the whole feminist women pushing things and they wanting their rights, but at the same time, it's a double standard. So a lot of good stuff that we might
nice. And I'm excited too because I want to hear Joel Friday's take on that Don Lemon clip I played for you guys on Friday.
That one too.
Based non-sexist Don Lemon says that there's more interest in men's sports.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just because Don Lemon is not morally straight.
I was actually surprised to see him take that stance.
Right.
Considering Don Lemon.
Right.
So, that was interesting.
So all that, and I will finally hopefully get to Joe Biden, the Cheshire Cat. We'll see if Joel can see it too. Nice. Can see that Sleepy Joe Biden has a grin like a Cheshire cat. All that and your calls, if you would like to call in, everybody. And I do have my Streamlabs working, but now my Restream chat's not working. Let's see if it will. I think it's connecting. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the hate report. La, la, la. It's the hate report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it got deeper.
Yeah.
The hate report. La, la, la. It's the hate report. The hate report. La, la, la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Let me introduce to you, I didn't give a proper introduction to my co-host, Joel Friday here. Joel Friday TV on Instagram and YouTube. Follow him there. Puts out excellent, you know what, I'm going to mess with my mic. Sorry, Jesse, if your mic is messed up. It was Hake. Twiddling with the knobs. Joel Friday TV on Instagram and YouTube, like I said. And he is the former board operator. So even when he was fired from the Hake Report, because it used to be the Hake Report with Joel and Esteban. Or Esteban.
The original.
But come Christmas time, they were like, it was going to be Christmas Eve on 2017 when it was going to be Sunday, Christmas Eve. Oh, let's sleep in. And I was ready to do the show. And so the story goes
I feel like I'll never live this down.
Right.
I'll never live this down. So what actually, what was it? Was it a Christmas Eve?
Yeah, it was going to be a Sunday, Christmas Eve. And so since you guys had decided, oh, let's not do this show. And we had just started in September. September 3rd was our first show. So October, November, December. 3 months in, we're building our audience. Want to do a consistent thing. I was down to do the show. and I didn't fight them on it.
Yeah.
The official story, courtesy of Jesse Lee Peterson, not embellished at all, is that Hake fired them, and then I did my own show from Big Bear because they're not going to do the show, and I was willing to do the show, and so I did a show from Big Bear because I made plans with a friend once I knew that they weren't going to be doing it. So anyway, he has his own business. Joel Friday does. Now I can only think of the stuff that Jesse calls it. I normally never forget the name of his business. It's the Gifted of Dance Academy.
Yeah.
Do you still have the website for that?
Website is currently being reconstructed because people tend to go to the Instagram. And the website that I had before, it was not as user friendly.
Right.
So I'm on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at TheGiftedofDance, and that's where we're gonna have most of our video and content. Also on YouTube, we're gonna be posting more The Gifted of Dance on YouTube as until the website is going.
Okay, so you have 2 channels then.
Yeah.
On both Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
The Gifted of Dance.
Yeah.
And it's all one word.
The Gifted of Dance, all one word, and JoelFridayTV is also Instagram and YouTube.
Nice. All right. So, I'm looking at the screen and I'm thinking about what Art in Ohio said. James, you need to get your arms built up because Joel has his arm. It looks like we're looking in 2 different directions. We're looking off this. We're both looking off the screen, but we're both looking at the same computer monitor. Yeah. Those of you who are watching on the video feed, I know. So, guys, you can call in 888-775-3773. I didn't cover this Balenciaga scandal at all. So let's dive right into that.
Nice.
Joel, you want to tell the people about it?
I'll go into a little bit what I know about it is obviously I'm scrolling on Instagram and then there's this big scandal of Balenciaga and then obviously when you find stuff on Instagram or social media, they dramatize things. But I think this one, it caught a lot of backlash because they're calling it pedophilia attached to the children. But also, there's a lot of stuff, obviously, that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But with this one here, I see these photos of these 2 girls. I don't know. These photos of these 2 young girls, obviously models. I don't know if the one on the right is a boy or not, because nowadays,
good point.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the one on the left looks like a little girl, and they're posing in Balenciaga gear, I believe, shoes and everything. But then they have this this little teddy bear, I think it is, and the one on the right with the girl with the redhead, I think it has makeup on for one. But they both are wearing the, what is it? SS?
Yeah, that's like called BDSM.
BDSM.
Whatever that is.
Stuff.
Like bondage, something, sexual perversion type stuff.
Yeah, sexual perversion type stuff on these little dolls that they have, and they have these kids posing with them. And now, obviously, it's good that the internet is raving about it because it's obviously insane.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, things continue to backslide that I noticed, but then they become normalized. So
True.
Obviously, like years ago, this was never even thought of because it would be like, no, that's totally inappropriate. But then slowly over time, society tends to demoralize, and then things become more accepted. Like for example, on the radio, you couldn't say any cuss word, 0, right?
Yeah.
It would bleep it. Now you can say like B. S, A, and those are all heard on the radio.
Right.
So the perfect example with these kids is that they thought they can get away with it and it'll be stylish or fashionable, but it's inappropriate. You know, it's just insane. So I just thought it's a perfect example to show how like they've been attacking the kids. To be honest, this is why I started my program a long time ago. Is because the industry has been trying to attack the innocence of the children, exploiting it. Disney, all the Disney stars that who end up later on in life having a horrible life. Like we've seen experiences, Miley Cyrus / Hannah Montana and her story and all kinds of stuff where they exploit these young kids are exploiting their innocence, and they end up on drugs, depressed, or sexually, I hate to say sexually abused, but in some cases, they're really dealing with some stuff. So this is just another perfect example that is shown, and I'm glad people are raving about it on the internet. They're raving about something good.
Right. You know what's funny is like I almost like what you said. People get desensitized and they just start to accept it. I almost don't see what the big deal is, because half of the country, or a third of it, the most openly degenerate people are fine with the so-called drag queen shows where they're doing these weird so-called sexy dances. Yeah. Remember Desmond is Amazing from several years back?
Yeah.
Desmond is Amazing was this 11-year-old kid. He's still 11. No, I don't know how old he is. But he was dancing like he was doing a strip dance on, I think it was Good Morning America with that Michael Strahan, former football player.
And they were hyping him up.
And you say that that's why you started your business, you're getting into the industry, like for dancing.
Yeah.
And because all the kids were just dancing to degenerate.
Well, I was seeing it
lyrics.
firsthand. Like, here's the thing. I'll give you guys a perfect example, because I was seeing it firsthand. That's why I wanted to do it, because for one, in LA, in the dance industry, and this goes across for the dance industry, the acting industry, the whole thing. It's all entertainment, right? So in the advanced classes, obviously the dance teachers are playing whatever music they want. And oftentimes in Hollywood, they're influenced to do the sexual type of movement, the whole everything, because that's what sells. That's what people want to see. So the advanced classes, those are the adult classes. But these younger kids were getting so good that instead of having an advanced kids class separate from the adult class, the kids that were good were just going in the adult class because they can keep up.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of separating them, they were just allowing them to do it. So they were just being influenced, and then they started dancing how they see the adults dancing nasty.
Right.
And then, one thing led to another. Now they're, their makeup is going crazy. They're wearing the short shirts. They got, the short shorts. They're doing all kinds of things. So it just was slowly, and I was watching it. I was like, man, this is insane.
Yeah.
And I came from the industry to where they were trying to get me to do all kinds of stuff. One audition, they had me before the audition started. They had you take off your clothes or take off your shirt, and then they're just looking to see, like, like is he strong enough? And then you go to the audition. So it's a typecast. And then one audition, it was like for a modeling thing, and they have you, because they want to look at your measurements, but it's still kind of weird. Like, they have you pull your pants down so they can look and just see how you look. But it just, the way they go about it is just improper to me. Yeah. So I just seen that happening with the younger kids. So I try to start something else. But it's just, it's the parents, man. The parents aren't, they know that this is insane, but oftentimes they don't have a alternative. So I'm trying to just create an alternative.
Nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the, in high school sports. Women didn't even play high school sports when my mother was going to high school. Maybe it just started in the 60s. And then they got the women in the sports. And then for tracks, let's say, or cross country. Yeah. The women were wearing the same type of, they were kind of short shorts. Guys didn't like wearing these short cross country shorts. Yeah. But the girls were wearing those same shorts and like a tank top and normal stuff. But now, like, when you go to these track meets, like, they're wearing, like, bikinis practically.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten worse and more and more, like, revealing. And I remember they weren't allowed to wear crop tops. Yeah. When I was in junior high. Yeah. Stuff like that.
It's so, it's crazy because I think that has to do, and you guys can let me know what you think, or James, you let me know what you think, is that I think it has to do a lot with, obviously, social media, because these things were not, you just knew, like, what was appropriate and what was not appropriate, right? Because some things are just unnecessary. Like, when you go to the gym, you see outfits that are just insane. Right. It's just like, why does the tights gotta go in the, you know what I mean? I know. Why do we need to see the, and obviously it looks good, but we don't need to be seeing that.
Right.
But it's like that kind of stuff has been like blended. The line has been, how would you say? The line has been blended to where you don't know, like, okay, is this the appropriate time for this? Appropriate time?
Right.
So it's just crazy.
We do have that footage that you
yeah.
sent to me. Those children, they look like.
Yeah.
Describe. How do you find this clip? It looks like
Yeah.
3-year-olds, 4-year-olds,
Yeah.
maybe 2-year-olds.
I think this is like preschool. I think this has to be like preschool, daycare maybe. It's so they look so young, but the mindset of what's happening with these younger kids, from my perspective, is I see that they're growing up a lot faster than they're supposed to. So the anger is a lot stronger than what it used to be, right?
Yeah.
But because of it, they're forced to grow up sooner. So their minds feel older than their bodies actually look. So they're
Right.
wearing all these like things because their mind is thinking like, I'm sexy. How you
I
think you're
know.
sexy at 5, right?
I know. I remember thinking I'm a man when I was like 4 years old.
But like
3
your
years
brother or your uncle or your dad or your brother was like, sit down,
Right.
right? But today they're like, you are a man.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just crazy. But yeah, we have a clip here.
You see. I think it's clip 11. We have clip 11, guys. Hake came prepared somewhat. Look, cover your eyes, kids. So there's a little girl.
With a crop
Pretty,
top.
yeah, with a crop top. Very coordinated.
Yeah.
Dancing, belly dancing, and then acting like she's Rihanna or Beyonce or whatever. And there's a little boy, light skinned, black is he? Maybe? Not sure.
How do they know to do?
Right. They're like watching people. They're grinding.
Look, she
Look at that. Terrible.
she going in.
Awful.
Something you can only learn from being on TikTok.
Yeah.
Or being on social media, or having an older sister, or
Yeah, watching
you
the
know,
adults
watching them doing it,
misbehaving.
But it's just insane. It's just insane.
Yeah. When I was in high school, that was not seen or heard of.
Yeah,
And then by the time my brother came in through high school, like
Yeah.
7 years later,
Yeah.
and that was like the norm.
yeah. You know what's crazy in high school for me is the girls were never okay with the term slut, right?
Uh-huh.
They were never, or like nobody wanted to be the slut or the hoe because it looked bad. But then you had one like slut or hoe,
Right,
you
who
know,
was
that
proud.
was there, who was like, and everybody was like, oh, okay, that's the one, right?
Right.
But like nowadays, it's like everyone looks exactly the same, and they're
Yeah.
okay with it. There's girls on this show, on this YouTube show podcast that I was watching, and she was talking about how like she has like guys that she sleeps with and guys that she takes serious.
Oh,
And
man.
I was like, and she was proud of it. And there she's like, some guys I sleep with, I only call them when I want a hookup, and some guys I want to take more serious. Like she was going through the whole.
It's
and
like
I'm
what JLP says. Is like they think that they're men. They're acting
Yeah.
like they're men,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. It's wrong. It's like wrong.
It's not right for the men to do it, and
Yeah.
then they're suffering even worse because they're not even.
Yeah.
It's not even like
Yeah.
normal fallen
Yeah,
state woman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's normal fallen
forced.
state man, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's,
do that.
But it's off-putting. Like
Yeah.
with the men, like you said, the same thing is wrong for the men to do it, but there's just a certain thing about it. But with the women, it's when they're doing it, it's forced for one, and it's off-putting because it's like they're trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I really think that Balenciaga is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, for sure.
Hassan showed me a picture of one of these, Hassan, explain to us what this picture is. So cover your eyes, kids. This one is disturbing if you're faint of heart, like Hake.
Yeah, so this is someone who's, I believe, a creative director and creative designer for the Balenciaga Adidas collaboration, which I think is...
Adidas, wow. I didn't know Adidas was involved. Kanye's been talking about Adidas.
Yeah.
they did a collaboration, and I think some of the photos of the kids and everything is part of that collaboration as well. But this is just a creative director
So
designer.
this
Oh, wow.
woman that we're looking at has like this bright. This is the picture that I didn't want to show when I touched on it briefly last week. Hassan sent it to me. And this woman with bright red hair, like Raggedy Ann, except shiny and gross, and shiny face, like she almost looks like a mannequin, like she has a wax museum person, and this fancy like Star Trek bad guy outfit or something. I don't know Star Trek. And her hands are all red with like paint or like bloody hands. And then the worst part of it is she's holding two doll-looking things that are just covered in shiny red paint. No clothes on these dolls. And it just looks wrong. And this is a woman who's working with Balenciaga. Is she designing the children's clothes too?
Well, I do want to say, if I may, that, and maybe we can leave this, we can go back to you guys.
Thank you.
But,
sorry, kids.
If I may say, I just want to say that, like, she may be the creative director and she may design some of the stuff, but the head designer of Balenciaga is a guy named Demna, who is extremely like creative person that I don't think should be blamed for, because sometimes there's a lot of like different things that's happening that the creative gets accused of.
Right.
And
true.
So now there's like all these people, even songs, burn Balenciaga and all this like.
Yeah.
But the creative, like Demna, who may not have anything to do with the promotions or the, these sick photo shoots even, he might not even be having approval of his own designs, of his own clothing that he is the designer of. So
he may not have approved that stuff.
100%.
Right.
He's just the creative who's designing the actual clothing.
Yeah.
But then there's all these different marketing people and sales teams and people that come up with all these plans of marketing and promotion that he may or may not be involved or privy to. And I'm not necessarily just defending him, but I think a lot of
the whole industry, the whole world is corrupt.
The whole world is corrupt.
Yeah.
And a lot of somewhat innocent creative artists sometimes maybe get in that, and then it's like.
Yeah. But I wonder if he's the one that gives the okay. I mean, if he's the CEO of the company, does he, at the end of the day, does he give the okay? Does he accept things, or you know what I mean?
But he's not the CEO.
Oh, okay.
He's just like a creative guy.
Yeah, like so.
And he may not have even given the green light. Is what you're saying? You don't know if he did or didn't.
Yeah, these companies, Balenciaga, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, they hire every 8 years like a new president. Like they hire, Tom Ford or Marc Jacobs, and right now Demna is the head designer at Balenciaga, but he's still hired by that company. And that company is owned by other companies, right?
Yeah.
So, and Demna's just a kid that went to art school, went to design school, and, and this is, he goes and gets a job and makes clothes, and then they have a bigger way of selling and promoting that maybe he's not privy to. And then it sucks because then everyone's like, burn Balenciaga, cancel Balenciaga. And it's his actual design and art that we're now canceling because of a marketing plan that maybe is demonic.
Right.
Well, the only thing, because I'm glad you brought context to that, because obviously, like you said, we want to blame Balenciaga. But at the same time, I do think that Balenciaga does get a little bit of blame, because the only reason why I say, because I look at the example of this, is that if I have my studio and I have a teacher that I hire, and the teacher does something inappropriate or plays music with like sexual music, let's just say, it plays My Neck, My Back, right? By Lil Bossy or whatever.
I'm not familiar.
So
I'm sheltered still. Apparently.
Or the Whisper song. She plays the Whisper song and she dances.
Yin Yang Twins?
The Yin Yang Twins, right? And then there's no clean version, and then he's teaching 5-year-olds, right?
Right.
If a parent complains or writes a review, they're writing a review to The Gifted of Dance, right? So
it's on you.
Even though it had nothing to do with me, I told this person don't only do clean music, only do that. But if I'm not there and they do it, it ultimately looks bad on me. You know what I mean? So it's good that we give context to, like, I'm glad that Hassan is giving context to maybe this guy, the head designer, has nothing to do with it, which is good. But as a whole, that's something they have to sit down and be like, well, who approved this or who did this and why is this allowed? You know what I mean? Because then at the end of the day, we have to point the finger at Balenciaga. It's their company.
Right.
But Demna is not in charge of Balenciaga, is all I'm saying.
Right.
The guy
okay.
the guy who's making the clothing.
And they're trying to sue him.
No, I don't know if they're trying to sue him, but what happens is when we start to say burn Balenciaga and cancel Balenciaga, what happens is now images of Demna's work being
I
burnt.
see.
Yeah.
And it's the same as if
I
like
see.
And it's work
Yeah.
that's not even offensive necessarily sometimes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he could be
and
doing
the
something.
issue is
like
not
they're-
the clothing.
Right. Right.
It's just like
Yeah.
people, to me, it's kind of like people bandwagoning against, well, this is a different notion, but it's kind of like the people bandwagoning against Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein, when to me, Balenciaga is just part of the whole rest of the culture. They just
Yeah.
went a little outside the line that people are used to when the line has already been way overcrossed by the whole industry.
Yeah. And I think that social media oftentimes tend to pick and choose which good story that they're or bad story that they're gonna piggyback on and make a thing. But there's plenty of them that are like
Right, you
issues.
could blame the women who were sleeping with
Right.
Harvey Weinstein
Right.
because nobody held a gun to their head, to my knowledge.
Right. But I mean, to what Hassan is saying, it's unfortunate for Demna. I don't know him, but just what Hassan's saying.
Like employees of Balenciaga, everyone doesn't agree with all that.
Yeah, but I think,
But yeah, they work there. And
I
so,
just-
how can you work at that terrible company?
You know what I'm saying?
Look at all these terrible companies. There
Yeah.
isn't a company that's not terrible to work for
Right.
almost.
Right, and especially the ones that are as big as they are. But
Yeah.
I mean Demna, unfortunate for him, but he does have to take that, and it sucks.
Yep.
But it's like then they have to work within the company to figure out how do we make sure this doesn't happen, because Demna's gonna get blamed, and it's unfortunate. But Balenciaga is a part of this, so people are gonna look at Balenciaga like there's rappers that Christian rappers. I won't say who, because they might be watching, but who burn the Balenciaga shoes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like they burn their stuff because they don't want nothing to do with it. But Hassan makes a good point. Maybe there's people within it that aren't a part of that, but they also have to take the hit.
Yep.
But if you're involved in a company, then it's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
You know, I have some super chats to read and some calls to get to related to this too. Appreciate that, Hassan. Thanks for the input there. Hassan is the new board operator. He's the new Joel Friday. Joel never did that. But some supers for you guys. Streamlabs.com/The Hake Report is working again, guys. /tip if you want. Streamlabs.com/The Hake Report /tip. I still haven't shared any of my super chats winnings with Joel Friday.
Wow.
Lord Bibby42 says, Joel came back for reparations, Hake. Moonwalking like a mug. You can moonwalk, right?
Oh,
Michael Jackson, who? Where is he now? Terrible. Joel Friday does not endorse that joke. It's a joke, guys. We love Michael Jackson.
He is gone.
They offed him because, no, I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory. It may be true, but I don't know. Lord BB42 with another super chat. These phony, evil, quote-unquote, artists use the expression artistic view as a way to express themselves to showcase evil, as in evil, in a non-judgmental way. It's rather brilliant because it often goes unnoticed as true evil. Shame on these people. They are all fakes. That's interesting, I say, Lord Baby42, because it reminds me of like the more and more acceptance of like nudity and all that stuff in art. And they pretend that it's not sexual. And people try to separate it, like the Christian artists who do paint, draw and paint nudity. They like try to separate it out, but they're still
Yeah.
People are not as. It's like these actors who like do these sex scenes and shower scenes and kissing scenes,
Yeah.
and they pretend that they can be professional about it.
Yeah.
But you'll often see them
Yeah.
like fall in this fake
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
when they do it.
I always wonder about that too. Like, how much is that really not genuine? It has to be all genuine. You know what I
Right.
mean? To be that good at doing it on camera, like, there's something going on.
That's how Johnny Depp fell for Amber Heard, I think. They did some scene together,
That's how it started?
and then like Satan started talking to them.
Like, oh,
That's how I
yeah,
speculate.
there's so
But that
much
is what
chemistry.
happened.
But that's what happens. They'd be like, this,
Yep.
you guys have good chemistry.
And Johnny Depp is a professional.
Yeah.
Amber Heard, I don't know. But Johnny Depp is supposed to know better than to he's supposed to separate the art performance
From the work. Yeah.
from falling for the woman. What a shame. Thank you, Lord Bibby42. Let me check for other super chats on Odyssey. And oh, you can do super chats on Rumble too. Rumble rants. Anyway, thank you guys. Let me get to Brian in North Carolina on this issue. On the line. Brian in North Carolina, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, how's the gang?
We're doing
How's
well.
everybody doing?
Doing well, man.
Doing well, man.
Nice. Sounds like y'all have fun up there, man. That's good to see.
Nice. Indeed.
I called for something else, but I called for the same thing, I guess, sort of, kind of. But Hassan came in with the context, and not James, but Joel made the good point, which is really Balenciaga is a market, and if anybody's got a problem with it, they're just pointing out the problem with themselves.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what Balenciaga produces is what the people want to buy.
Yeah.
They're a business,
True.
and it just so
So
happens
it's a
that
problem with the people. It's a problem with the people who are supporting this type of industry, is what you're saying?
right. So if Balenciaga is succeeding so much, it's because that's the people.
Yeah. It is a reflection of the corruption. Without a doubt, though, these industries are overrepresented by unchristian, not morally straight people.
Yeah.
Women, radical homosexuals, unchristian people, if you will, the people that Kanye West talks about, and just in general, it doesn't. They definitely push what they're about, and it doesn't merely reflect the broader population, because the broader population, I think, is a little bit more. I don't want to say the word decent, because decent is not what we are, because if we were decent, we wouldn't be corrupted by them. They do.
I don't think it is anymore, Hank. I disagree with that. I don't think majority of the population is decent.
Yeah, I agree they're not decent, but they're not as. They would be perfectly fine without the fashion industry and the media and entertainment industry pushing all of this degeneracy. These industries are more degenerate than the population, so they're pushing the population to become more degenerate. And because the population is weak, they're falling for it. That's my take.
Yeah.
They're accepting it.
I agree with that. I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I could agree with that as well. But I called to give my little experience about, seeing the way that women dress nowadays. I have a family member who's like, I think she's 15 or 16 now. And it was probably like 4 months ago, I saw her for the first time in a few years, and when she showed up, man, she was wearing this outfit that had her belly all hanging out and showing, right? And I was like, why are you dressed like a hooker? I said this to her in front of her mom.
Uh-huh.
Her mom was standing there, and her mom, she didn't say nothing. She just like had this look like, I don't know, whatever. And her mom was like, oh, that's how all the kids dress nowadays. I was like, so you're saying all the kids nowadays dress like hookers?
Yeah.
And she was like,
They do.
She was like, well, no. I was like, well, that's what she's dressed like right now. I said, you know who walks around showing their body like that? She said, who? I said, sluts.
Yeah.
I said, so every time you come, I said, every time you walk out of the house wearing that, that's just remember, you look like a slut. So don't be surprised when people treat you like one. and that was like 4 months ago. And I've seen her probably like 3 times since then. And it's amazing how like now every time I see her, I love her to death, and she knows it. But she has this, the demon in her like hides. Or she feels like ashamed, you know, whenever she comes around. Because every time she comes around, she got her belly hanging out.
Yeah.
Or she's got her chest showing. Or she's got, you know, something. And
yeah,
it's just a mess, man. But it's amazing to see how little it takes to point things out, especially at that age.
Yeah.
While they're young, you know.
That's good because it may wake them up a little bit.
Oh, it's in there. I can see the seed already.
Nice.
And it's amazing because she knows I love her. I treat her, you know, I love her to death. But she's not. The honesty of it is uncomfortable.
Right.
I can see her working through it, but it's in there.
The crazy thing, if I may, is that it's just that oftentimes they're not seeing another example of light, quote unquote, to follow, and they're surrounded by the dark. So then they just tend to just go with the dark. But like you said, if you're speaking up and saying things, she's getting an example of the light, and then she goes back to think about something, and then she may you know what I mean? Then she realizes maybe this is a little inappropriate. You know what I mean? So
but you're right about them needing that example of light, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not from not the light that I just shined either, but like I think for women it's important to have another example of what a decent woman is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's just like for men, you know, if I've never seen a hardworking man, I'm not going to know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice to see a good example for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Brian. Good to
for
hear
sure.
from you, man.
Likewise, Joel, you black too, man. You talking about some at the end of the day. At the end of the
what
day.
You mean? Wait, what you? Oh, the figure of speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's black. That's
what
black.
all
That's
the black people say.
At the end of the day.
That's funny.
And it usually comes after a disagreement with the truth.
Yeah.
But it didn't that time.
Nice. Well, right on, Brian.
Right on,
good to
man.
hear from you. Did you know that Brian from
Same
North
to you
Carolina,
guys.
he's black?
He sound black. He
Okay.
sound black.
All right. All
Hey,
right, Brian.
see, Joel say I sound black. That's good.
Yeah. Because with
I guess.
with me, you could go either way. All right, man. Take care.
You too.
All right.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
if No, let's say Hassan's make a good point here. He said blaming clothes is like blaming the gun, which is true. You know, is that Hassan, your take is basically saying that people shouldn't be mad at Balenciaga because of the action that was taken, or what do you mean?
Can you
first-
show yourself on the
Oh
screen?
yeah. First of all, I definitely thought Brian was not black.
Yeah. I totally thought he was white until he started saying that he said something about his family in a prior call, or himself, or his wife, or something, or children.
Maybe it's the blacks
black?
know the slang.
Because he just sounds like a southern, possibly white guy.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, no, I mean, if I may say that, yeah, anyone who's burning the clothes or like trying to make a stance of burning the clothes, they're dumb and it's stupid. And
Ooh, shots fired.
well, because it's just like if a artist is signed to Def Jam or a higher label, the artist is getting punished for maybe the way the conglomerate or the label is promoting such music or such product. They don't have a say in that.
Right.
And they're the people who spent their whole lives going to design school or art school and then just get a job at one of these high level places, which they've dreamt of their whole life. And now they spend, their whole life working on these collections that are also in that call. I wanted to say that they're not successful because of the advertisements.
Right.
They're successful because of the person who spent their whole life being an artist to make the best products.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's all.
So, but for you, you're saying that don't blame and I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean by not, because it is unfortunate for Demna. That's his name?
Yeah.
Let's just say that, I know nothing about him, but if he's a guy who is trying to just do his thing and then he takes the hit because obviously Balenciaga is such a huge company, and then his whole style of life has to suffer because of it. I can get that. I understand that. I just think that it's just unfortunate because if people don't, Queen Butterfly is still here. Wow, that's crazy. I just think that if people don't say anything, these people get away with this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate. I think that people need to do more of what you do and separate, right? And let that thing. But it's like, what do we do then if this happens? People within Balenciaga do these things and they're getting away with influence. I mean, look at this little girl in this video. This comes from a long line of, let's just say she doesn't have parents who are like this. Well, their parents are demoralized. But let's just say her main influence is social media. Well, part of that is this picture of Balenciaga. This picture of these little girls holding this doll. Where do we draw the line and say, like, Balenciaga, you guys got to stop?
Show that picture of the girls or purported girls with the stuffed animals or stuffed monster things.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I'll just...
Whose parents let them do that?
Yeah.
Whose father and mother of these model children let them do that with this company,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to blame the people.
Right. And if I could respond to that, because that's a great point.
Yeah.
The same way we have to separate everyone who feels like they're righteous about denouncing Balenciaga, but still has an iPhone, and Chinese kids are like slaves making the iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's an American company that should be made in America.
Yeah.
They make enough money to where they could easily do that. So what I'm saying is, like, if we're not going to look at it all across the board, and we also have to separate that, right? That doesn't mean that we don't love Johnny Ives, who designed the iPhone.
Right.
He's the best living designer, Johnny Ives.
Right.
So it's not wrong for us to love the iPhone because he is our greatest living designer. But
yeah, no, I get where you're going with
when Apple, you can't blame Johnny Ives for what Apple is deciding to have it made in China by kids in sweatshops.
I actually want to just, and James, cut me off if we're going too long on this.
No, go for it.
But I actually want to agree with Hassan with the point that he's making because, for example, if Balenciaga makes a great shoe, and let's just say the designer makes a great shoe, and the shoe is comfortable, it's fashionable, and it's legit, it's a good shoe, but then we find out that behind the scenes he's like a pedophile, let's just say. This is not real, but let's just say, well, I don't know. But let's just say, then does that discredit the fact that he made a great shoe that's comfortable and it's my favorite shoe, and should I stop wearing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great shoe.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if that's what you're saying, it's like, at the end of the day, I agree with what Hassan is bringing up because it doesn't take away from the good art that they do, but at the same time, we have to find a way to make it so, we love your stuff, but you can't just be doing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's necessary. He makes a good point. I don't think it's necessary that we do have to burn this kind of stuff because it is good product. I mean, I wouldn't know because Balenciaga, dang.
I never heard of Balenciaga.
Isn't it expensive?
And just my last point, if I may. The also, and yes, you're right. If the person themselves, we do have to separate even the person. But this is just separating the company from the artist.
Right.
So Balenciaga is not Demna, and Johnny Ives is not Apple.
Right.
Johnny Ives is just a creative that creates the products for Apple. What Apple does is a lot of out of Johnny Ives' hands.
Right.
Which is why he left.
Right.
Or Balenciaga is separate from Demna. So yeah, so I just think that it's the same way that people can't separate whatever January 6th from Trump
or people who blame the trolls who went and harassed this. I don't know if you guys even know this story. There were these so-called trolls who did harassing phone calls on this Jewish journalist woman who was talked about, and some of her information was maybe put out by a guy on Daily Stormer. And now this guy on Daily Stormer, he's like faces jail time and I don't know, millions of dollars that he doesn't have because of what somebody else did. Or like the people who harassed the parents of the Sandy Hook children who were murdered. Because Alex Jones speculated that it may not have been what we were told. Oh, these guys seem like actors. They're actors. And because other people harass them, Alex Jones owes billions of dollars to the parents. It's just like, it's similar to what you're talking about.
I get that.
Yeah, I remember Joe Rogan said that. He said that there was comments under his video that someone was like, "You're responsible for what people comment on your video." And Joe Rogan was like, "Are you insane?" Like
ridiculous.
So
that's the woman thinking, I guess. It's that emotional overreaction. And you're right. Like even the Christians fall into that type of ham-fisted overreaction. And outrage.
And it's very similar to what Jesse said in church on Sunday about the gentleman who talked about seeing abortion signs in the lawn and ripping the
puffing up in self-righteousness.
Ripping the signs down,
thinking you're being Christian,
Christ-like. And
that
Jesse
happens
said
so much amongst us.
Jesse was like, Jesus wouldn't have did that.
Right.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep. But just Hassan says, whoever's burning stuff, you're stupid for burning all your
I am definitely saying that because you're for one, you're trying to be righteous and holier than thou, and secondary, you're trying to like. If you're filming it and putting it up somewhere, you're trying to get some sort of clout from it. And third, you didn't burn Balenciaga, the company. The guy who owns LVMH, the high company, he don't care.
He's sitting pretty.
You're and Demna, to be honest with you, doesn't probably. It's not going to affect Demna, but as an artist, it does hurt probably Demna because it's like this. You're destroying. It's like I said, burning an iPhone. Because you're mad at Apple. Johnny Ive spent his life like designing this,
the right shoe or the right style. But yes, and I know we're going heavy on this, but this is my last point for me is that at the same time I can understand where people are just trying to do something, even if it's the wrong way. Because we keep seeing this stuff over and over and over, and nobody's doing anything. So they think in their mind, even if it's the wrong way, that burning the shoe is, say if everybody decided to burn Balenciaga shoes or Balenciaga clothes, then Balenciaga goes out of business. Now they can no longer, put out this kind of stuff. So that's the approach that I can understand that they're trying to take. But when Hassan comes in and he says that, why not just go to the specific designer or whoever did these two babies and the little kids, deal with that, is what you're saying, and let Demna and everybody else be free to make the designs that they want, is what you're saying.
Yeah, let's be Christopher Columbus and protect the peaceful Indian from the one who wants to skin him. Like it's not the actual artist designer.
It's not all of Balenciaga.
Fault.
It's not all of Balenciaga.
Well, it might be Balenciaga the company, but I'm talking about the people who are the artists inside of Balenciaga
that have to suffer for it.
All right.
Oh, there it is.
Let's get to a call or two before the hour is up, guys. I do have some Hake music to share with you. I should let Joel bring some of his music sometimes. But no Joel Friday music this time.
I forgot to send you some songs.
I should have asked you. Oops, I forgot. I wanted to share Hake music. Let's get to Frederick in California on the line. Been on hold forever. Thank you for holding. Frederick, are you there?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? Hey, you know me.
Doing well. You're live with Joel Friday. Have you ever talked to Joel Friday before?
No, I haven't talked to Mr. Joel Friday before. How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing? Pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
Right on.
I wanted to talk about, you know how they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Right.
Yeah. So let's say that this artwork is judged by people just putting prices on what they wanted to go for. Same thing with Balenciaga. You follow me?
Okay, go on.
All right.
It's
the
being
real
judged by people who are pricing it.
value. Excuse me?
It's being judged by people who are pricing it.
Okay, these people that are pricing it. All right. What about, let's say, okay, let me go at you at a different angle. A Jew tax. Do you know what that is?
No, not me.
What tech?
The Jewish tax.
The Jewish text?
Tax.
Tax?
Taxation.
Oh, the Jewish
It's-
tax.
Yes.
That sounds like a completely different subject, but go on.
Oh, it's almost what they doing. The rabbis come in and they make a line of products that touches all their food, and it's called kosher. And
Oh,
they
okay.
get paid for these blessings and all their manufacturing, and they spread the consumer cost amongst all of America, not just Jews. You know about that?
Okay.
You know about that, right?
I've heard of kosher a little bit. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
my
Make your
God.
point. Make your
Y'all need
point,
to
man.
catch up. The same black people y'all against are calling black. They stole the Judaism from the pharaohs, Christianity, all of that, right? The plagiarism.
You're jumping
Why do
around,
y'all
man. We
get
can't
so
understand
mad
you.
at
Make
Balenciaga?
your point. We can't follow you.
I said, why are y'all getting so mad at Balenciaga, but y'all not mad at who's pulling the string?
Whatever.
What do you mean, though?
The Christians are the puppets that's playing along and letting them be in power.
But then that, if what you're saying, that's like the whole point of burning the shoes and the clothes is because you think in your opinion, you think Christians should do that to stand up and fight back against Balenciaga?
They burn LeBron James' jersey. I mean, people burn what they don't like. You know what I'm saying? If they feel like it doesn't stop the process, they just rebrand it under a different name and you buy it again and you don't know who's making it.
That's true. Hassan is agreeing with you too on that point.
So what do you mean?
True, because they're
where's
at the top. They're not going to go broke.
What is your
They have
stance?
a taxation
You know his
that
stance?
they will
Let me see.
remain in power.
I think he's saying that the
hidden under
Christians,
guise
the
of
Christian,
Christianity and the Roman Catholic Church, but the blacks are the ones, the Hebrew Israelites, yeah, they are confused. When it says that they will not know who they are, they don't know that they are the pharaohs. They think they're the Hebrew Israelite because that's where the river started at. They want to be connected like Kanye to this Christianity. But when Jesse knows the truth. That's why he don't believe in Jesus.
Joel
But if
doesn't
you
have
throw
a
all
clue
of
what
that
you're talking
fool
about.
away,
Joel Friday, and
Huh?
I don't see how this connects with what you're saying.
Yeah, I might
you're
be.
making like you've made five
I'm
different
saying
points.
until y'all wake up and realize y'all all being played by court jesters. The court jesters are the ones getting rich. The ones that back up the racism like Jesse, the uncle, the ones that cut their niche into white society and defend, oh, there's no racism. Y'all black, y'all lazy. It's y'all. It's gonna keep on. They're gonna keep on getting wealthy, and y'all are just the jesters around the black pundits.
So you
And
think
it's
that?
like people waking up. They like, come on, really?
You don't really explain yourself well, man.
So do you think that you're saying
It's
that?
okay, but you
the
understand what I'm saying in the audience. though.
But
No,
are you
we
saying
don't.
I'm
that-
jumping around
No,
because
we
I
do
got
not.
a lot of topics.
Well, that's
But
what I'm
I
trying to
want
ask
you
you.
Yeah, you're like
Look,
you're
they don't
you're
call
almost you might be worse than Maze today.
Worse
Go
than
ahead,
Earl.
Joel. Joel wants to
Well,
try to
are you-
interpret what you're saying.
I'm trying to first understand it. So are you saying that what Jesse is doing about like sticking up for white people, you're saying that that's not good because it's the same thing as the Balenciaga thing? I don't understand.
Jesse speaking down on black people is putting them in the position of feeling like, you know how there's a thing of the verbal abuse, and then
Oh yeah,
as you think if so a man is.
yeah. Let's just say Jesse is doing that just to prove
Why
your
does
point.
he have a support group?
Well, let me get it out.
What?
Let's just say that Jesse is doing that to make your point. What is wrong with the people who are being influenced by what he's saying and going with it and being held down by Jesse's opinions? What's wrong with them? How come they
I
can't?
don't see them really even. They're told to wait for overtaking or uplifting, or after you forgive your daddy, everything's gonna be okay. I mean, that's almost like wait for Jesus to come back.
I'm lost. I just
Yeah,
can't.
you're not
I can't
making
keep
sense,
up with
man.
you. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I'm
You
trying.
make logical
Just
jumps that don't
says,
make sense. They make
If
sense
you
in your
forgive
mind, but not to
mama,
us.
You will be at peace one day. You will have no discernment, and if you still angry or if you still got any kind of hate in your heart, you need to forgive your mama. And when that happens, when you're totally at peace, you won't have no discern. You won't need happiness. You won't be sad. It's like,
So you just
what
called
will
in to
you be, like,
complain about
numb?
Jesse? You called into the Hake report to complain
I'm talking
about
the
Jesse.
religion aspect that the whole world is under. Praying for a change never changes anything. Do the silent prayer and pray for Trump to be or Kanye.
Go
to be
complain to
president.
Jesse, Frederick. You're not making any sense.
I'm trying,
and I
Fred.
like you.
Oh, y'all trying to? What else? What doesn't make sense?
Not one thing
I'm
that
trying.
you've
How
said.
religion? How
Not
religion
one
is
thing
a
that
belief
you've said
system.
has a logical connection to it.
I'm trying, Frederick. Do the silent prayer, then come back. Call back.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
not
'cause
very
y'all
clear-minded.
can't keep up. Catch up.
Have you been drinking? Oh, he hung up. Sorry, I hate that click. Hake full of hate. Oh man.
I was trying, but I couldn't catch it.
Yeah. Man. Okay, we're a few minutes till the top of the hour. Shall we take a break? I want to get to Javier in Iowa soon. Man, hang tight. I will get to you. Anna in Missouri wants to talk about Balenciaga and working for the devil. And Javier wants to know the take on anti-Semitism. Ever heard of that, Joel Friday?
Oh yeah.
So we'll get to that, everybody. We'll get to any of your new super chats that may come in. And we have more stuff to cover. Don Lemon debating the women on women's sports and men's sports. And the double standard with women. What a setup. What a mess. Joel Friday is here to save the children and the men. I mean the women, I mean. Save the children and women.
I'm saving me first.
Yeah.
There we go.
Very true. So, let's get to some music. And yes, Hake neglected to tell Joel, hey, if you want some music, you can share it. So now we're going to listen to Hake music, which is not fake music.
No, I like Hake music, though. So.
This is from 1990, the year before Joel Friday was born. But, you know, I thought of you with this song. I thought that you would enjoy it. I thought you might appreciate it. So this is I Am on the Rock by Petra, 1990 album, Beyond Belief. It's a Christian song, guys. I hope you like it. I know I do. Enjoy. And I'll be right back.
Everywhere
so good. Oh my gosh. No, rock is not another word for crack. Okay, maybe it is, but not for this. He's talking about the rock of Jesus, the solid foundation. They're Christian. See, the rock of Jesus, not Jesus' crack.
He's even telling you of Jesus.
Right. Peter is the rock. That's right. Petra means rock. Did you know that? Petrified. Peter. Right on.
Or he's talking about Duane Johnson, either one.
Oh, no. Duane Johnson is no spiritual rock, in my perception.
Did you know he was going to literally run? He was actually thinking about running for president.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard that.
And then
he's no Trump either.
And then they were like, The Rock decides not to run for president. We didn't care.
Right. Wasn't asking.
We don't want you. We don't, just make the movies. Okay?
Yeah. And he needs to not be such a so willing to make a joke of himself in these movies.
Yeah.
Because he's like this manly looking person who could be awesome in movies, but instead he's in like these. He comes off as like this harmless, funny, silly male, you know?
Yeah.
In these movies.
I haven't seen a rock movie in a long time. The ones that, I'm not too sure the new ones, but the Walking Tall I liked because he was just strong.
I haven't seen that.
And then what was that other one? It was Walking Tall, and it came around the same time. I forgot the name, but back then it was more of like staunch rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then, and he's kind of funny too. But
staunch rock,
meaning like he's more like male figure.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's in the wrestling days, like he was tough in WWE.
Yeah, like that. But then he made movies after that, like Walking Tall, to where he played cop. I think it was Walking Tall where he played a cop.
That's why you wanted to join the LAPD.
Oh, I don't know about it. But yeah, those were the movies back then that were like Gridiron Gang. I don't know if Hassan remembers the Gridiron Gang, but Gridiron Gang was a football movie, and Rock was a coach who influenced the young black kids in the area to do better, and so it was just a different Rock.
Yeah, what a shame. Now he's like limestone.
What's that?
Limestone is this soft rock that you can chip away very easily.
Limestone.
So, you know what? Let's get right to this Javier in Iowa before we get back to your story about Don Lemon. Javier in Iowa wants to talk about anti-Semitism, I think. Javier, thanks for calling and holding. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well.
Hey, so I got a question for you guys, and what do you think? Do you think Kanye West and anybody who criticizes the Jews because they're the ones who run Hollywood, do you think those people are anti-Semitic?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
What do you say,
Joel?
Joel?
It's a group of people.
I mean, you have a right to say whatever you want. It doesn't make you. That's just your opinion. Like, it don't make you anti-Semitic, racist. You just saying your opinion, even if it's right or wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with Kanye giving his opinion on what he believes the Jewish media is doing.
Yeah, I agree. He may be correct or incorrect. The issue is whether he's correct or incorrect, and
he is.
Whether they're claiming that him saying that is making resentful people potentially become violent against the Jewish people, which I don't buy that. That's kind of like saying, oh, Alex Jones is responsible for the trolls.
Yeah.
And that Trump is increasing the anti-Semitic crimes and anti-gay crimes. That's a roundabout communist way of violating the First Amendment. And it's increasing resentment, because when you shut people down, that increases resentment.
But I mean, it is true that Cardi B gets her check from the Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I somewhat know what you're saying. I don't know what Cardi B's situation is, but I know that everybody knows that they're in the media. Like, a lot of Jewish people are in the media. They're CEOs of companies and involved in the finance and all that stuff. So people and they're in the media too. They're like in the news industry, so they're intellectuals and they're not Christian. And a lot of them, even the conservative ones, fall for this. Oh, this is anti-Semitism.
That's just, in my opinion, that's just sensitive people not knowing what to do about the situation and not also understanding or seeing what Kanye is trying to do. So instead, they just want to get him out the way because it hurts their feelings or they think it's going to cause an uproar. It's all fear-based to me. When in actuality, he's just giving his opinion, whether it's right or wrong. Like, let him have his opinion. You calling him an anti-Semite or whatever is your opinion. So why can't he have his opinion?
I just don't think. I mean, I think they do it like Black Lives Matter. You know how the rioters and protesters, they hide behind the argument or the excuse. Hey, because we were oppressed 400 years ago. Here's what we can do because we were oppressed. And I think the Jews are getting away with that too. Since Hitler did some stuff to them, well, you can't criticize me for what I'm doing now.
Yeah, to me, that's a good point. To me, it reminds me exactly of the whole anti-Semitism thing. Reminds me exactly of the racism thing. It's like, oh, you can't say that to a Jewish person.
They use it to
because
invalidate your argument.
Yeah, they've been through some stuff. So that's so hurtful. When however many years it happened, the Jewish kid on the corner playing basketball ain't thinking about what was happened back then. He maybe have the history and he's been taught to feel a certain way.
Right.
But nobody's really feeling that, it's just another means of
it's projecting evil intentions on Kanye and stuff. When Kanye plainly says I'm against violence and he's not for I don't think that Kanye would be for a Holocaust happening. I don't think he would be for that. In fact, he said we shouldn't be killing. But I think what's happening too, Javier, is that they're trying to bait you by being unreasonable into being mad about it. Because now it reminds me also of like the women and men situation where women will be unreasonable and accuse the men and needle them and just be
No.
Hold on, man, I'm still talking.
Oh.
Women will accuse men of being what the women are doing, which is what, a lot of the Jewish people and the blacks will accuse the whites and whoever's criticizing them of being hateful when they're hating the person who's speaking.
Exactly.
But what happens is the men will overreact or the whites will overreact.
Yeah.
Either they'll get scared or they'll get angry and overly defiant.
Yeah. So then it makes
And so like there's all these people who are saying this is not anti-Semitism. Some of these people who are saying, no, Kanye's telling the truth, they'll puff up.
Yeah.
And then it's just like Jesse says, two devils fighting.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you got to watch yourself.
I look at it. I look at it differently because this is like something that's always been known, and that who runs Hollywood and who pays. Like they don't pay good role models. They pay people like Cardi B. They pay people like 50 Cent to sing these songs to indoctrinate people because in the end that's all they do. And these Jewish people, they don't give this music to their kids. They don't let their kids listen to this.
Sometimes they do. Because
they know it's harmful.
Sometimes they do, but you're right. A lot of people are living family lives, and then they push like JLP said about some of these black so-called leaders. They have families, but then they're pushing lack of families on everybody else.
Yeah.
But man, that's different from the point that I'm making, is that we who see that the evil are overreacting to the evil and fighting evil with evil.
I just mock everything. I'm not angry. I just mock it because I'm not anti-Semitic.
Is that love?
For saying something. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, when you tell someone that's fat and then you tell them directly, either mocking them or not. It's still the truth.
I don't think that
whether it's true or not, the truth is not always spoken in love. So it doesn't. You have to be watching yourself and your spirit.
Yeah, I don't think in my opinion,
you can mock in love, I guess.
What's his name?
Javier in Iowa.
Javier. The mocking thing comes off as judgmental and looking down, as if that you're better than, or there wouldn't be a mock, because if
we know the difference between right and wrong.
Right, but if you understood, like, and this goes for everybody, all of us, is that if we understood what the reason, the cause of it, there would be no mock. The only reason why you mock is because you think that I'm right, you're wrong, I'm better, you're not. So the mock is arrogance. So you got to watch the mock.
Yes, it's arrogance. Yeah, when you know you're right, you kind of. But yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. So that is something that's why it's good to always watch yourself. Because you can you can see how silly everybody can see how silly another person is and evil another person is. But if you start to judge that person, you're just as evil.
Yeah, but you're right in what you're saying though with the anti-Semitism thing. We agree with that. It's just that what James is saying, he's making a great point, is that Christians don't know how to respond properly. You know what I mean? We just, like he said, we just fight back
They burn the shoes.
Yeah, because we think it. We're thinking
videotape it on social media for retweets.
You know,
they do that for clout, but I wouldn't burn. I mean, I throw them away.
I'm just making that's another bad example.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Yeah, no, Hey, but no, thank you guys for taking my call.
Thank you, Javier. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Have a good one.
You as well. Hang tight, the rest of the callers. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Well, can I say one thing about, because since we're on the topic of him, if you don't mind, is what did you think about the, because I just heard it today, but the clip of Kanye talking about like Hitler is, I don't know if can we say that on YouTube? Are
what
those
did he
trigger
say?
words?
You can say the quote and we'll say we disavow.
Okay. I guess Kanye is saying like it's all over the internet that Kanye is saying that he liked Hitler and that Hitler did a lot of good things and that we need to stop making the things Hitler did such a bad thing. And then Alex Jones was like, I think it's a bad thing. And everybody else on the social media is saying like it's a bad thing that she's saying that. But I don't know because I didn't see the full clip. But I just think that there's always context to why people say things.
Right.
But what do you think about like
what Kanye's been saying and stuff?
Yeah, just his whole thing and his position on what he's doing in general. Do you think it's productive, or do you think he's coming from the right place, or what do you think?
I can't tell if he's coming from the right place or not. He's saying the right words in that we should be loving, we should love everybody. He was interviewed by Gavin McInnes, that guy who founded Proud Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Strange guy. And along with Nick Fuentes, because he's been hanging out with Nick Fuentes.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
Of AFPAC. So Nick Fuentes was on the Alex Jones show with him.
Oh, I didn't see it.
But he's been kind of stayed quiet, kind of allowing the man to speak his piece for the most part.
Yeah.
And he's saying the right stuff about, he's telling the Jews to forgive Hitler. It's over already. Stop making it, what I'm saying, into something that it's not.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he's going too far or too short, or as far as what I hear, most of what I hear him say, it sounds like it's true.
Yeah. And
when he says that the Germany was doing good, Hitler or the Nazis were doing good things and bad things, maybe, he said nobody should be killing anybody.
Yeah.
And
I heard that.
He spoke against pornography. And I've heard, I've had these callers over the years.
Yeah.
So I have been exposed to almost everything that I've ever heard him say.
Yeah.
That I've heard Kanye say. It wasn't 6 million, it was 250,000, and they weren't murdered.
Yeah.
All of them or whatever. And I've heard them say that they were standing up for Germany, nationalism, morality, getting rid of the pornography and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe they went too far, got rid of some of the art, some innocent artists who were Jewish or not Christian.
Yeah.
They might have fallen by the wayside too. So maybe they didn't do everything good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's how I took it when he says, "Oh, I loved things about what Hitler was doing."
Yeah.
He was doing stuff that, from what I've heard that he was doing stuff that was good too. And then I don't know what the real story is on.
Well, of course, is that
Holocaust.
there's always like people obviously want to paint white people who were slave masters as purely evil people.
I know. Yeah.
And the same thing with Hitler. They want to just paint it because it serves their ego and their agenda of making it, you know, like pushing it to be such a horrible thing. Which obviously there's a lot of unfortunate events, but it doesn't mean as a human being that person is just a pure, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because obviously there's a method to what everybody's madness. But my only thing with Kanye is I just think his timing is, and this is just my opinion, and I just think his timing is not right. Like, for one, he came to Alex Jones' show in that little mask jump off thing.
It looks almost like that BDSM type stuff,
like
that weird sex stuff.
Like, it's just like that. If you want to do that for stylish, and it's like a cool like outfit, but there's a time to wear a cool little outfit. Not at
he
the
looks like he
interview.
has no sense.
You know, like it looks like he has no sense. So then when you go up there and you're saying these things, nobody's gonna believe you because you're coming in there off. Right, and you maybe see, like, I agree with a lot of things that Kanye is saying and stuff like that. With the whole Hitler thing, I can't confirm or deny the good or bad about that. But I respect that he has his own opinion. But I feel like the way he says it and the way he does it is almost like looking for a response, like wanting to be canceled, like to say like I liked Hitler. It just, to me, it just seems like purposely inappropriate.
I didn't see that aspect of him saying that.
Yeah.
Because I've heard so many of these white guys come in and say this.
Yeah.
Like, there's this guy, John Friend, who came in when I was at it. And he said, I think he was a good Christian man. And I'm like, it's shocking at first, but then you realize that these people have looked into what they've looked into, information.
Exactly.
And so they've been exposed to all this stuff, so it's normal for them to say that.
Exactly. That's a good point, is that I think that Kanye can be 100% true, right? Like, I'm not denying that he's 100%. Maybe he's right about Hitler, right? Let's just say
people
that's
think
true.
Jesse is a shock jock,
right?
But he's not saying stuff to be shocking. Jesse is not.
And see, that's
he's
the
saying
thing.
stuff that's real. But then, for a lot of us, we're not exposed to that kind of truth, or we haven't ever heard that before.
Yeah, and I think that I think that there's, when it comes to being a strong influencer and to get the job done, in my opinion, I believe we have to learn how to get the message across. Because we could say it as is.
Right.
That's fine. Like, I mean, because it's the truth, and the people who know the truth hear it and they're like, boom.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like it could be reached a little bit more if it was, if the opportunity was waited for and then it was given properly. Yeah. So I don't think that we got to walk around people and like walk on eggshells and try to please everything people say. But I do think that that we would do a lot more good if, let's just say, Kanye put a little bit more context to what he's saying, because when you just hop in there with a mask on,
I know,
talking about Hitler was good,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, it just, you know, people are obviously gonna be like, "What do you mean?
Right?
He's such a," you know what I mean? So it's like that part of it to me seems ego, and with that, you're actually gonna get more haters because the world is not sitting up here trying to figure out, well, what did he mean? They're just like,
it does seem like a lack of wisdom.
Yeah,
and how he's going about it.
Yeah, that's my only thing. But I agree with
or a lack of sense. Like, wear a suit, man.
Sense, yeah.
Or I understand we've never seen Kanye in a suit, so that might look weird.
Right, but he could have wore. He got plenty of outfits that he could have wore, but he could have just took off the mask, wear the shoulders, and be fine. Hassan, you got to type in the group text because I can't see, and then you're making me feel left out, bro. Could I ask? Do you mind if I ask Hassan's take?
All right.
What do you think, Hassan, about the Kanye fiasco and what we said?
Well, I just want to say real quick. Anyone who gets sued for $1 billion, I recommend wearing a mask next to them too.
Yeah, right.
Just so that in the court of law,
you ain't
Alex Jones.
Just so in the court of law, you can say,
right.
prove that it was me. Yeah. Also, that mask is, ironically, a Balenciaga mask.
Oh wow.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I just think that definitely when he says like I love Hitler, there's definitely a Christian element of love all people. But I think there's also the element where, yeah, you know, like it's known Adolf went to an art school. He was an artist that went to art school. He designed an Olympics logo, you know, the logo with the rings.
Had no idea.
Let me drag these into the
Never knew that.
let's see
Yeah,
if
the
I can do this.
Volkswagen logo.
Never
There's a lot
knew
of
that. That's
there's a
crazy.
lot of
I'm dragging it into the
Context.
folder that you
Okay.
texted to me. This is the brilliance of having iPhone
Context.
iMessage.
yeah. So yeah, I just think that you know, and then he even said in the interview, he's like, you know, this guy. Now I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what he elaborated. This guy invented highways and invented the microphone that I use, and
Right.
And then blacks were on Twitter saying, "Oh, it was actually invented by a black man."
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know if, you know, if that's necessarily true, but I know
Yeah.
that German engineering, you know, for
Has
us
been brilliant
has
for a
been
long time.
brilliant. I mean, the
Yeah.
Mercedes Benz, the
But see,
gun,
this is
Lugers.
so- Go ahead. Finish,
No, I'm
finish.
just saying, like,
Yeah.
other than Japanese, there's probably no one even close to German engineering. I mean, some would argue that the Germans in coming to America helped NASA get us to the moon.
Meaning the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, this is the problem, right? This is the perfect. Like, I'm glad that James and Hassan know more than I do about this stuff, because for one, my take for one is that I don't like to have a bad opinion, a judgment on Hitler, because I don't know nothing about him. So I
Right.
just take like, well, I don't know nothing about him, so I'm not gonna say anything good or bad. But when they come in and they say all this stuff, I think it's appropriate, because the big problem that we have in society is that nobody wants to understand these. This is not being talked about. This is not being said. Why is nobody want to talk about Hitler's background? Why does nobody want to talk about the quote-unquote slave master's background, or why that became the structures and systems that were put in place to allow this machine of quote-unquote slavery to work, and the profits that they made from it and all this stuff? Why isn't that appreciated?
Yeah. Good
Like,
questions.
You know what I mean? It's like, these are the things that the reason why we want to demonize people is because we just like to grab on to the thing. Now, let's just say,
and not look at everything.
like, because there's a method to everybody's madness, and everybody's a human being,
Right.
and everybody's either influenced by good or evil. And sometimes we're 1 week we're walking in the light, the next week we got lost in thought.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but does that make me a bad person that week? Oh, so now I'm evil that week. The next week I'm a good person. You know what I mean? Like, you're just human being. Now,
Right.
is it unfortunate that all these, you know, the Jews had to die in the thing, right? Like, we know that. But for one, that's over. But for two, it's that if you took time to just understand a human being, and then the mindset
And yourself.
in yourself,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. If you understand yourself, then you'll understand. Maybe you'll see why he went about this. Maybe he was driven by a self-righteous idea that he thought in his head was godly,
Right.
but he was deceived by Satan,
Yep.
which makes him a regular human being just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to look at that. Same with the school shooter. You know, nobody wants to look at that. Instead, he's evil.
Right.
But if I go to your house and look at your daughter who comes to my dance studio, I'm looking at evil right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, the Jews.
Right.
You know, nobody's looking at themselves. So I'm glad you guys come and bring context, because I kind of agree with what Kanye is saying and what you guys are saying, that there's more to it. My only thing is that bringing that context helps the people who are asleep have a little bit more understanding to what's going on, opposed to just triggering their thought process of, well, Hitler was good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's
why
my thing.
That's why JLP is right when he says there's no such thing as racism or sexism or anti-Semitism or homophobia. It's either anger or love,
Yeah.
hate or love,
Yeah.
right or wrong. Because if you break it down to just anger, the people who are mad at the racist or the anti-Semite they're guilty of the same
Yeah.
sin that they're accusing the
Yeah.
so-called
Yeah.
anti-Semite.
See, if you go to the root, exactly.
Right.
You go to the root problem, then
because
you
then
realize
you can be guilty of the
yeah.
same thing.
Oh shoot, I'm actually angry.
Uh-huh.
But people who now hear Jesse say you don't have anger, they walk around pretending they don't have
Right.
it. So when they do react, they're like, "Well, that wasn't anger. That
Right.
was righteous."
Yeah.
It's a mess.
What a mess. The self-deception.
Anyway.
I put some pictures in the folder, and I have your pictures that you sent to me in the folder just to show the people. Here's some pictures of Kanye in that weird-looking mask. And this was on the Gavin McInnes show that I dragged in those screenshots. And then there's also the German memorabilia, or the Olympics. Jesse Owens, the black famous. Here's this scene. This happened yesterday, or at least it was uploaded yesterday.
Oh, so Nick Fuentes is there?
Yeah,
okay,
Nick
didn't even know.
Fuentes. It's a pretty cool interview setup. I don't know where they
Yeah.
are, but they're in LA somewhere, I guess.
I'm sorry, that thing with the.
Look at that. I know that it's not. At first, not 1 inch of skin was showing, but then I found an inch of skin on him.
Yeah, it's like he almost looked like he's about to rob the place.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
And it's stylish though. Like when he wears, I've seen pictures of him like in these kind of outfits.
I see his wrist. I see
You
some.
see some
I see
skin.
some skin. That is a black person.
It just does it to me. It just lacks common sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like oftentimes what hurts him, in my opinion,
He's
is
too
the
artistic.
lack of grounded sense to
Yeah.
make certain decisions.
Yep.
Because at this point, when we're speaking up the truth, we have to do our best and not fake it, but to truly overcome so we can be the example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, or else we sit up there looking like, you know, we're about to rob the place, but then we're talking about righteous things. But
Yeah.
then we're wearing like, you know what I mean? It doesn't look.
Wearing a mask with no eye holes, although those zippers where the
Yeah.
eye holes are or something. But you can't even see his eyes or anything.
It's just hard to respect. It's just
Right.
hard to respect to me.
True.
So that's my thing.
Poor Kanye West. It was interesting, though, hearing him talk about forgiveness. He says that he forgave the plastic surgeon of his mother. I guess that's how she died or something like that.
Oh, wow. I didn't
And
know
he's forgiven everybody, and he
Yeah.
forgives
that. Yeah.
this and that,
Yeah.
and loves even though he's going to be against same-sex marriage, if
Yeah.
he becomes, if and when he becomes
Yeah.
president,
Yeah.
he also is for loving everybody.
Yeah.
I like that,
Yeah,
but
me too. Me too.
he's not ready. I don't think he's ready to lead.
Yeah. But you make a good. I think Kanye's on doing the right thing, and I think that he's a voice
Yeah.
for the industry, and I like that. I've always liked that he's never been afraid to speak up and say whatever. And there's an energy to that that's admirable, and I like that he's that kind of way. And I think that the fact that he's on the side of trying to speak up for good and all that stuff is good.
Yeah.
I just hope that he's aware of himself, though.
Right.
Because arrogance can, he's also known
True.
for having a big ego.
Right.
And that's just off-putting. Nobody wants to follow, like your kids, looking at certain things and you're saying, Daddy, you're telling me not to have sex, but you just talked about the 5 girls, I think on the Drink Champs, he was talking about how like he buys the girls like a house and then he buys, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
Which one are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's just my only thing. But I like Kanye. I'm on the side of Kanye, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if we showed the stuff that the most evil man in the world ever, Adolf Hitler designed. Here's the
I didn't even
Olympics
know
in
that.
Berlin.
That
I
is
guess he designed that,
crazy.
according to Hassan and
I
Kanye.
didn't even know that.
And it's a little button that we're looking at, a medallion, when it says 11th. Is it the 11th Olympics? Held in Berlin, Germany,
Wow.
1936.
And we
as
use
the
that.
Olympics rings.
and we still those rings are still used. There's no
Right.
outcry.
I don't know if the rings were designed before him, but he incorporated that whole design with
Of the eagle and
crazy
stuff.
eagle and that evil Nazi symbol, the swastika.
Yeah,
thing.
that's still not there. They took that one out.
right. So anyway, I guess he hosted the
I
Olympics.
didn't know that. What was the other one? A Volkswagen.
That's Volkswagen, and you see the V and the W,
Yeah.
and then you see like this gear wheel thing and this windmill or power thing or whatever.
like you have to respect just good art, like
Yeah.
period. Like what Hassan was saying about Balenciaga. You gotta respect the good art and just leave it at that.
Right.
And just appreciate that. And then if they do, you denounce the things that they don't do, that's good.
I mean, the mainstream people say that he was a mediocre artist. And that's why he was angry.
Well, Volkswagen.
No, I made that part up, maybe.
That was the cause.
Some also say that he got denied by a Jewish school
yeah,
and
and that's
teacher,
what made
and
him
that's
mad.
what caused everything.
Somebody said that his dad was Jewish or his mom or somebody, but you hear so many stories, you don't know the truth.
Yeah, you don't
Who
know.
cares about history? Know the present times and know yourself.
And that's the thing about when people say, "Oh, well, Hitler didn't do that. Actually, Hitler didn't design this. Hitler didn't design this."
Yeah.
I think they try to maybe wash some of that away.
Yeah.
But the way you can kind of see is that his influence in the Nazi uniforms.
Yeah.
Even Hugo Boss, they designed the Nazi uniforms, and his perspective on the uniforms is probably still to this day one of the best and most influential to all other clothing.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's kind of like people trying to downplay
That's
Elon
insane.
Musk. He didn't design those rockets.
Yeah.
Or Trump is just a reality TV star. He's not a good boss.
Yeah.
And so they're downplaying these people's accomplishments.
Yeah.
Just because they hate them.
Just because
they judge them.
Exactly. And it serves them, serves self to hate and paint over their whole thing. Because if you say, but he's kind of a good person, then you have to be like, well, then what am I going to do with this anger? You know what I mean? So it's just a mess. It's a mess.
It really is. You
That's
know
horrible.
what? Before we get to your story.
Volkswagen, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Mercedes? Who? Anyway, we got to move on.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get to Anna in Missouri. She's been on hold forever. On the line. Anna, how are you doing?
All is well.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing well.
Have you talked to Joel before?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Nice.
Anna.
Hi. I want to ask you guys, where's Hitler now?
Say again?
He gone.
Where's
where's
Hitler now?
Oh,
Hitler now?
he's dead.
He's gone.
I think I assume
He's
that he's
dead,
dead.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you guys getting hung up on all these celebrities like Kanye West and Hitler and talking about it? Maybe we should take a deeper look into what happened to the actual people in the German Empire and why it crumbled, and what happened to the actual people in the Roman Empire and why it crumbled. So, and I want to take a stand for the Jewish people as well for a second, because I want to say the devil works through people by identity theft.
Identity theft?
By identity theft, yes.
Explain.
And today we can see that the Jewish people in Israel as well are brainwashed just as much as we are by the devil.
That makes sense.
And so I want to stand up for that real quick, and then just to come back to the whole entire Balenciaga thing, which is actually tied into everything here. Because if we really take a bigger look into all of that, is that the sexualization of a nation was always one of the beginning stages of its total destruction.
Yeah.
And that's what we are seeing in America now. And what is the big empire in the world right now? The American empire. And what is it going to go into? And why are we seeing so many parallels to Germany right now? Well, look at Balenciaga, and I don't agree with Hassan right there, because being an artist and creative is not an excuse. I am that myself. And there is no blame. That's what I want to say also. There is no blame in speaking up for what is right. And it certainly doesn't help to overreact to evil. So don't burn your good shoes, right? I agree with that. But if the designer from Balenciaga is innocent in this devilish presentation of the company that he agreed to work for this company, and now he realizes, oh, this company is working for the devil, then he shouldn't cry out victimhood or should not use it as an excuse, but instead pick up his stuff, quit the job for that company and leave and work for somebody else, hopefully somebody who's doing the work of God and not the work of the devil. And yes, we do have to stand up for it. You know, we do. I think I agree completely with Joel with that we do have to speak up for it. Who else is speaking up for good?
Do you want to respond? Did you catch that, Hassan? What she said about the artist for Balenciaga should quit his job and find a godly company?
If he's innocent, yeah.
Anna, have you ever worked for somebody that necessarily you didn't know completely everything that they're into or what they do?
Did you hear that exactly what I was saying? If you realize that you work for somebody who is doing evil work, then you can always quit your job and work for somebody else, correct?
So now that he knows,
if you are innocent in this, it shouldn't touch you. All the blame in the world should not touch you at all because you do know that you are innocent in this. You can pick up your stuff.
So should I? So do you think that in the Bible where hold on, I'm trying to figure this out.
I know what you mean.
Do you think that in the Bible
He's
when it says that that we should obey the laws of the land no matter even if we disagree or not? What do you think about that?
About what?
About, like, say you don't agree with the president or you don't agree with the whatever regime that's in power at the time, but you just continue to still live your life. You don't flee the country. You stay and you just mind your business and you don't cause an uproar. You don't, you just...
I don't have to support it.
Right.
I don't have to support it with my work. I don't have to support evil with what I am doing, correct? Without making any uproar, without blaming anybody, because it's on my own, it's on me if I agree to the devil's work, isn't it?
But did the designer design devilish stuff, or did the company just make devilish stuff apart from what the designer did?
It doesn't matter what happened. The past is the past, right?
No,
we
I'm talking about.
In the now.
But if I'm an artist working at Balenciaga, say I'm what's that guy's name?
Yeah, Demna.
Pretend I'm Demna. It's up to me and God to know whether I should leave or not. Because you and I, speaking as Hake, are on the outside looking in. We can't tell Demna that
exactly.
We don't know that Demna needs to. We don't know that God wants Demna to leave Balenciaga. It's something for him to know for himself whether he should leave or not.
Correct, and so it is on him if he wants to keep working for this company with this kind of image and with this kind of presentation, because for sure this company obviously is pushing sexualization of children. If he wants to keep working for this company, that's on him. So he shouldn't he shouldn't whine around if somebody says, oh, he is guilty if he keeps working for that now. I mean, not that I would blame him, because I can certainly understand we all have done evil, right?
Right.
But I can also say if I am awake and I wake up and I am with God now, I will not work for the devil any longer.
I can agree with what you're saying when you're saying that if he decides, even though let's just say it has nothing to do with Demna, but he decides to still work there, he has to bear the scars of Balenciaga and what they do because he's a part of the company. And that is true.
But he could be like a light in a dark place.
He could be a light in a dark place. And what I think that she's saying is that
he can't play victim.
He can't play victim, but he also has to deal with the repercussions of being attached to Balenciaga. That's a choice he has to make.
It's kind of like how the good blacks, the blacks who aren't going to steal your purse, have to be more understanding of the women who hold their purse tight.
Yeah,
And not be
and first, and then also you have to remember that we don't see him shine yet, and instead we see Kanye West still wearing the Balenciaga clothes. So what is he doing with that? Why is he still wearing the Balenciaga clothes? So that's why we have to look in what is actually going on.
Well, Anna,
and not what.
Oh, no, finish your point. Well, let me just say this. Is that I think that what can be a slippery slope that you don't want to, and I'm not saying you're going down it, but what you want to avoid going down is the painting over what Kanye is doing. So, for example, if Kanye is wearing Balenciaga, we can't now say, oh, well, Kanye is endorsing or he's attached to Balenciaga or whatever, or like he's okay with it. Let people just be human beings. That. I know, but my point is that sometimes we have to learn how to. But let me finish, and then I'll let you get your point out because you were saying your thing. But we have to allow people to be human at the same time, right? Like, and I don't think it's necessarily that Balenciaga has to be canceled, but they have to be made aware that what they're doing is crazy, right? But we don't have to call them a devilish company. Now, if they are, let's just say that it comes out they are, boom. But I still don't even think that that's necessary. You know what I mean? I don't think we have to do all that. All you have to do is just call out injustice as you see it. You know what I mean? But when you call it a devilish company, now Demna, and I think maybe that's the point, correct me if I'm wrong, Hassan, but now Demna is looked at, let's just say Demna is a light in a dark place. Now he's looked at as a devilish designer because he's a part of, all because we decided to call Balenciaga devilish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can also be with words so nitty gritty like the left always is, because we have to be careful whose feelings we are hurting, correct? Because so we can't say women are evil. Can we? They're not evil either. But we do have to call that out, right? Because our world right now is existing out of it in the majority. That doesn't mean when I say a devilish company that I mean all of these people in the company are evil. I'm talking about the presentation, how this company presented itself.
Then we should go.
It presented it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And then I think that we should call what they did evil and leave it at that. Because when we do call it a devilish company, we spread a cancer almost to what we may not fully know. Now, for example, if this was just a moment that Balenciaga had that was a mistake that now Demna has to suffer from or whatever, then we need to call that situation, this is an evil situation, and leave it at that. But I think the people on the left, the people
I don't even think. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't even think that we should dwell on Balenciaga so much longer either, because we did call it out.
Yeah.
Because the sexualization of America is everywhere.
Right. Yeah. They're not the only ones.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
Exactly.
Good point.
Anna, thank you for the card. I got your card the other day. I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. That is so. I love the messages that you included in there, and very artistic.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
That was really nice presentation. Appreciate that. Thanks. I wish I was a designer like that. And I studied design in college.
Yeah, see what universities are do for you?
Yep, nothing. Just puff you up and charge you for it. Thank you, Anna. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Have a good day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like Anna.
She's cool. Oh man. Okay, so we have so many calls, but we gotta save the women. Let's save the women. Joel Friday, present your story about Don Lemon. I covered this briefly, but let's cover it with Joel Friday here.
Okay, so I want to see the clip, but first, just what we're about to show is that Don Lemon is basically debating with these two other women about why men's sports is more popular than women's sports, and the women are taking a stance of it being because like marketing and blah blah blah. And Don Lemon is taking the logical stance and saying no, it's just because men, people just want to watch men do sports. It's just a logical fact. So we'll see what the clip says right here, and then I'll give my my take on it afterwards.
Clip 13, I think, from last Friday.
Make the exact opposite argument. I know everyone's going to hate me. Go ahead. But the men's team makes more money. If they make more money, then they should get more money.
Why does the men's team?
The men's team makes more money because because people are more interested.
But guess who takes part of blame? I have a big issue with this, guys. WNBA, same thing's happening to them.
There's
until
also
media.
More interest in the
hold
NBA.
on. Until big media companies, big tech companies, advertisers invest and put them on their airwaves more and allow people and allow people to see it more and gain more fans, then you will push toward more equality. But if they are blocked in so many ways and not invested in as much, they don't even have a. I know you're not, but they don't even have a shot.
I grew up the only boy in a family of all women. I understand what you're saying, but not everybody, honestly, has the same skill. Not everybody has the same interest.
Yeah. I love this kind of stuff because there's a feminist agenda coming from the ladies, is that it's systematic. Now, there's to give her a little bit of credit, there may be things here and there that may be a little bit systematic, but that's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that nobody wants to watch females do men's stuff. You know what I mean? Like when females play basketball and these are now they have a football league for women to where they have pads, but they're in lingerie football. It's just tough.
Right.
And people don't want to see women be strong and tough. And if the people who do want to see it, that's why the women NBAs makes a little bit of money that they make.
Right.
Because then it's acceptable. People want to see it. But nobody's going to want to, everybody's going to want to watch a man's game, not gay. Man's game played by men. That's what they want to see because it's tough. It's rough. You know what I mean? So I love this kind of stuff because it's not about the women wanting to do the right thing or make the logical point. It's that they're just angry that they're not getting this attention that they want. Yeah. And it's because you don't need that attention.
Right.
Why do you want to be praised for being tough and strong and all that stuff when you could be praised for being soft and nurturing to the children? That's great. That's a great way to be praised.
Yep. A woman who fears the Lord is to be praised.
Exactly. And that's a good point, is that there ain't nothing wrong with being praised. We should be worshipped, right? But there's nothing wrong with being praised for staying in your lane.
Yep.
But women are just oftentimes, not all, are so jealous that they want to be like men just so they can get the praise and feel good about themselves. And that's what this reminds me of. It's like everybody knows the WNBA can't compare to the NBA. Nobody wants to see. We want to see Steph Curry. We want to see LeBron James.
Yeah.
We want to see these people who can do it, and we don't want to see I don't even know the names.
Yeah.
And I don't even watch basketball. But
Brittany Griner.
Right.
I only know her because she was loaded up with drugs, according to Trump. Well, she had a little residue of pot vape juice in Russia, and she took the vape on the plane. And Trump said she was loaded up with drugs. But that's the only reason I know Brittany Griner's name, and she's mannish.
Yeah,
she's not morally straight.
And that's the whole thing, is that it's the obvious thing is that we want to see men do men's sports, and they do it better than women doing men tough sports. It's just the facts. So let it go.
They use that satanic buzzword, communist buzzword that I call it, equality.
Yeah.
She used that equality word. Men and women are not equal. They're not going to be doing the same things.
The same things.
Some of them can compete at a nice level, and it's kind of impressive to see. Yeah. I'm sure Brittany Griner is somewhat impressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
And that there's been some UFC fighter women who. Yeah. What do they say though? They fight almost like a man.
Yeah, they fight almost like a man. Exactly.
Right.
And they know that, and I can understand that there's I think where it went wrong is that women were not appreciated and complimented or praised in the roles that they took at a certain era. Because in my grandma's era, you had to stay at home. That was your role.
Yeah.
But it was taught as that's what you have to do. You don't get a choice.
Right.
And that does seem prison-like when you give it that. Instead of teaching it to the woman that this is appropriate, this is valuable, this is just as important as a man's role, but here's your woman's role, right? We need you to do this. We thank you for doing this. You know what I mean? Giving that appreciation. But instead, because it felt legalistic to them, I think they were like, I'm done doing this. I want to do what I want. I want to be free. I want to have sex. Because men, and also in those times, women were staying home and raising the kids out of force, let's just say. But the men were off cheating sometimes. Men were often off doing things that they wanted, and they had to just bear it. So I think that part of that has to do with them wanting to just, quote unquote, not be controlled. But it's just all a deception to me.
Yeah. It's kind of like, the serpent in the garden.
Yeah.
Like the man, there was some weakness back in the good old days that allowed for it all to fall apart.
Exactly.
Whether it was allowed for the subversion to happen, because there's been a lot of subversion of our culture against Christianity.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of just hypocrisy and who knows what all else.
And then it leads to.
That's why you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what? Calm down, y'all.
I know. It's so ridiculous. Man, we're about 5 minutes till. I got to read a bunch of super chats, and hopefully we'll get to a call as well, guys. Over there on Streamlabs, ton of come in. Lord Bibby42 says, The Rock is part of the deep state. Early in his film career, he struggled massively. Once he took the oath to the Democrat Party is when his career took off. I'm not saying he was on Epstein Island, but check his records. What a fake. Thank you, Lord Bibby42. Talking crap about The Rock. LinYenChin says, Merry Christmas, Lord Good Hair and the Prince of Prance, which is Joel Friday, who was 30% the son of France. That means 30% white. Oh, yeah, and he probably has some French in him because he's Creole. But 100% American Twinkle Toes.
Thanks.
Thank you, LinYenChin. Who also says with another super, marrying redacted fund, she nice. If not marrying, put it to pizza.
What?
Man, I'm lost. I don't know when this came in. It might have, and I don't know what he means by pizza. Sometimes pizza means something else. Not right, but I'm not sure what you mean. Marrying redacted fund, she nice. If not marrying, put it to pizza. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. If you don't get married, you got to cook yourself or get pizza. Yeah, it might have been Pizzagate type of a thing, but I'm not sure. Or cheese pizza is CP, child. Never mind.
I can't. These subliminals I can't take. I can't process. This.
Animus, the great Animus. Joel Friday has racial animus. Just kidding. That's a long-standing joke, and I think that's why he got his name Animus. Kanye West saying, I love Hitler, and he did some good things too, and we should stop dissing the Nazis, is very cool. Everybody who says Hitler bad, Jews good is not saying it out of love, but out of fear of being judged, because it's super okay to hate Nazis. Yeah, there's definitely a political correctness that goes in. Whatever circle you're in, you follow whatever trend that the circle is in. If you're amongst the Jew blamers, you feel a pressure to blame the Jews too. If you're much among the mainstream, you feel a pressure to be catering to the mainstream. Lord Bibby42 says, this is all a performance from Kanye. He is documenting his downfall for a reason. I don't know his intentions, but don't be surprised when it's released in the next year or two. Head case, emotional, and egotistical. This is his quote-unquote art. Wow. Strong words from Lord Bibby42. But we'll see. We will see. Appreciate that, man. LinYenChin also says, Hassan, why does your chest stay so rigid and your shoulders so pinched as you constantly prop up your hands on your hips? Please learn how to optimize the range of motion.
That has to be LinYenChin.
Yeah, it is. Your diaphragm has. Boost oxygenation and flow of blood. Sit up, but relax into it. Spinal alignment, but relaxation. Don't have your hands on your hips propping yourself up. Loving words of correction from
always
LinYenChin.
came with a correction with my posture. I know I'm doing it all wrongly. Don't come for me next.
Yeah. So thank you, Super Chatters. I got it. And let me acknowledge the callers and then give you the last word, Joel Friday.
Yeah.
Tony in California was on hold forever, wanted to talk about Herschel Walker and the Georgia runoff, which is happening today. And another caller, maybe Rick from Hampton, Virginia, I forget. Somebody dropped off. Isaac, a first-time caller. I wanted to get to you, man. Out of Boston, Massachusetts, believes Kanye is spiritually maturing. Very interesting. I hope to hear from you guys tomorrow and the rest of them. Joel, last word.
Yeah, last thing is that I think that what we have to learn, including myself, all people have to learn is that, for one, that there's always a method to the reason why people do things. What did the Jews do that caused Hitler to decide to do this whole thing, right? Nobody, wakes up on one day and they're just like, I'm going to do this to 1 million. There's always a method. What did they do? What were they doing wrong? Or 6 million. Millions of, people that were, whatever. But it's like the method, if we take the time to understand what's going on, thanks to Hassan and James bringing context, then we have a little bit more understanding to different things. So we got to learn to stop being so quick to give an opinion and cast a judgment over these people when we don't know what's going on. Maybe there was good things. Maybe there's a purpose to slavery. Maybe there's a purpose to the Holocaust. I ain't saying it, but I'm saying maybe there was, if we take the time to do the research and find it out. So that's all I'm saying. Don't be quick to judge is my last point. And thanks, James, for having me on the show.
Yeah, man.
This was fun.
Yeah, Joel Friday is co-hosting with Hake on like every other Tuesday. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So a couple of times a month here. So look forward to that, guys, assuming that we continue with the Hake Report. Hassan, do we have time for that last song? Let's hear Petra, Creed, if there's time, man. I know we're going over time. All right, thanks, guys. Adios, America. Take care.
I believe in God the Father, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son. I believe in the virgin birth. I believe in the man of sorrows, bruised for iniquities. I believe